This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
G'day everybody, hope you're well. I've got a killer conversation to share with you. This one features Jason Evans from a death metal outfit called Ingested. They're from Manchester, and wow, doesn't he have a story to tell? Now, the catalyst for our chat is due to an Australian tour. Ingested will be performing alongside of Maddie Wilcock and co in Werewolves and ARCHSPIRE from Canada as well. I'll put the dates in the episode description. I'll certainly be at the Wednesday, October 11th show at the Zoo in Brisbane. Look forward to potentially catching up with the guys there. Now, I mentioned that Jason has a story to tell. Yeah, definitely. He's grown up in rather challenging circumstances, and you'll hear why. And then he's managed to thrive against the machine that is the clickbait-driven metal media. If you are listening via the podcast apps and Rumble, I've got a tune to share with you. This is the title track from their 2022 album called Ashes Lie Still, and once it's done, we'll dive into the chat. For all you good people on YouTube, you know the drill, can't play music on the platform. So here he is, Jason Evans. Yeah, I just had a chat to Thunderstick. You know, Iron Maiden's old drummer and Samson's old drummer as well. So that was great. I love catching up with him. So got two tonight,
sick.
mate. Yeah, got two
busy
tonight.
boy, busy boy.
Yeah, I was thinking a couple of this is beside the point. I understand that, but I was thinking a couple of weeks ago. I said, and you can probably relate being in a band. I said, I think I need to take things down a level because I'm really busy with it. As soon as I do that, all these great interviews come up, and I'm like, okay, I won't say that and tempt fate again.
That's always the way. That's always the way. Like I'm just like, I've just resigned myself to that now, because now it's like past since COVID, since all the restrictions lifted, like we've basically just been on tour, like, and then we get a month off here and there, like where we're at home, and that's it. Like it's just work, which is great. Like I'm not complaining about it. But yeah, like I totally get that. You think, oh, I'll just take it down a notch, and then like all these opportunities come, and then you can't say no. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I relate. But I mean, that's a point for you guys. Things have taken off in the last few years, specifically post-COVID for you guys. I was checking your touring schedule, and holy shit, it's exhausting just reading it.
Yeah, it's mad. Like it's mad. But like we're the thing with us is that we pride ourselves on our work ethic. Like we always want to be. I mean, it's like I feel like I'm quoting The Rock now, but it's like we always want to know that we're the hardest workers in the room, in whatever room we're in. Like it's just like I think it's because of like our background and like where we've come from, if you know what I mean. Like because we're three working class lads from like council estates. Like me and Sean are from fucking Manchester, and Lynn's from Wales. So it's like we've all grown up with fuck all, and it's like it's one of them things where it's like that kind of upbringing. It's like it'll make you or it'll break you. So in regards of like, there's loads of people who grew up on the council estate that were all my age that I know of, that I went to school with, who allowed that sort of environment and that sort of, because it's being poor basically. Like they allowed that environment and that sort of experience growing up to like grow up with the mindset of like, oh, like, you know, the system's against me, I can't ever achieve anything. Like, and it's sort of that victim mentality. Whereas like with me and obviously Sean and Lynn and other people that I know, they've grown up with, nah, fuck that. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's sort of like, what do I have to do to get to where I want to be? And it's sort of like it'll either make you or it'll break you. Do you know what I mean? It'll either instill a work ethic in you or it'll make you do fuck all for the rest of your life. It's just one of them things. It just depends on the person. And with me, Lynn and Sean, it's like our work ethic is second to none. Like you said, we're always on tour. We're always writing and recording albums. We're always doing because this is what we've always wanted to do. Like for all three of us, since we were like fucking young kids. Do you know what I mean? All we've ever wanted to do is be in a band. Like I've had normal jobs. I used to be a restaurant manager. So did Lynn. Sean used to be a postman and shit while we were doing the band. And it's like, that's shit. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to work for me. Like I want to work, like be Lynn and Sean working for ourselves. Like we're our own bosses. Like we call the shots. We're the band. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of like, it's to get to that point where like I say, you're working for yourselves. That's from where we've come from to where we are is an awesome feeling, because it's like we've never had any help. We've never had any leg ups or handouts. Like we've never been industry darlings or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Everything we've got, we've fought for and we've earned it. And like where we are, we deserve that spot because we've put the hard work in. And I think that feels great. Do you know what I mean? To know that we've earned this, we've worked for it, like we deserve this. Like, so where do we go from here? Like, what more work do we need to do? And that's kind of like, I don't know. I think it's just like the working class attitude, especially like from like Northern England, where we're from. It's sort of like, get it done. Do you know what I mean?
It is, but I've got some insight, and I can only imagine too. A couple of Anglo-Celtic kids in a housing estate. It's a bit like southwestern Sydney and a housing commission block down there. A couple of long-haired Anglo-Celtic kids. I mean, you guys, how the hell did you escape the extreme violence that could have been visited on you?
Oh, mate. Like, well, this is the thing. Like, growing up on a council estate, it's like, especially like being, well, what it was called then. Like, we're talking like late 90s, early 2000s. We were called moshers by like all the, I don't know, we called them scallies, but I guess you could call them like jocks or whatever, like the British equivalent of jocks, like chavs, basically. And like every day school was like hell. Like, you're getting the shit kicked out of you, you're fighting all the time, you just constant bullying. But again, it's one of them things that it'll either temper you like a steel sword, or you'll allow it to break you. Do you know what I mean? And like, for me personally, I think it was shit, but it's like, it's made me into the person that I am today with the mindset that I have today. Like, I'm very strong willed to shit like that now. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I've seen violence, I've experienced violence. Like, so it's like, it's toughened me up, basically. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not saying that it's a good thing, because it's definitely not, is it? Like bullying's a shit thing, but you know, it's made me into the person that I am today with the ethics that I've got and the morals that I've got today. Do you know what I mean?
Good on you.
But yeah, it was like, I fucking
extremely tough. Yeah.
Well, this is it. It's sort of like, it was like one of them things where it's like, you're worried about walking down the street where you live. Do you know what I mean? Because like, you'll get fucking the shit kicked out of you. Or like, one of my friends in school, he was in my friend's front garden. Like, so he wasn't even on the street. I think we were about 14, and one of these chav guys picked up this metal bar and fucking smashed him around the fucking head with it. And he had to go to hospital, and all his head's fucking pissing blood out and everything.
That's what I mean.
That kind of shit. Like, and the only reason that was because of how he was dressed.
Yeah.
Because he had like band t-shirts on and baggy jeans, and he had like longish hair, or he might have had spiked hair at that point. I can't actually remember, but
it's bullshit.
Like,
though,
that's the shit. Like, do you know what I mean? But that's it though. It's like when you're living in like I guess like a lower class environment, it's like that kind of shit happens. But I mean, I guess it can happen anywhere, can't it? Violent. It's not just about the environment. It's about the fucking individuals in it. Violence. Do you know what I mean? If you're predisposed to violence, then you're predisposed to it. Like.
But it's that, to your point, it's that hopelessness that housing commission or council estates are in the UK. The same thing, okay? But it's the hopelessness that they breed. And like, people could say, oh, it's not politically correct or what have you, but you've lived it and I've seen it. And it breeds this thing where people just don't feel like they can ever step above the position or the station in life that they're in. So that totally makes sense that you've got this attitude of, are we the hardest working people in the room? Well, we're not. Let's get to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's exactly what you just said. That's what I mean about that kind of environment. It either makes you or it breaks you. Because you can either, it'll break you, and like you said, you'll be like, oh, we can't get out of this, and then you resort to things like violence and crime just to prove
yourself
the thing to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
totally.
I know, it's horrible.
Exactly. Yeah. Or it'll go the other way, like it has with me and some of my friends as well. Where it's like, no, I want to get out of this. Like, I don't want to be in this environment for the rest of my life. Do you know what I mean? Why would I want to? And then it hardens you, and you become more goal driven, and you want to get yourself out of that shit. But yeah, I think a lot of that attitude makes Ingested what it is. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, like, especially with me and Sean as well, like, we're from Manchester, so it's like we've got that northern attitude that Manchester sort of like, some fuck you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you fucking trying to tell me that I can't do something or I can't achieve it? Fuck you. Like, do you know what I mean? We'll do it out of spite. We'll go out and achieve what you said that we can't achieve just to show you that we can. Like,
yeah.
But that's always been that sort of like northern swagger.
That's a Manchester characteristic.
Totally. It's always been like a huge part of Ingested. Because I mean, like, my biggest influence isn't even the metal band. My personal biggest influence in music is because I was born in 87. So I grew up through the 90s. And in the 90s, there was this band from Manchester called Oasis who came up from 10 minutes over that way, council estate. None of them had a job, absolute pot, not even a pot to piss in, just like me. And they became the biggest fucking rock band in the world. Do you know what I mean? So to see that, where they've come from exactly the place that I'm from, exactly the same environment, and then to completely dominate the world, that's amazing. Like, that's amazing. So that inspires me, because I'm just like, well, if they can do it, do you know what I mean? It's like anyone can do it. Like, so all you got to do is just do it. Like, do you know what I mean? You just got to find the way to do it and then fucking do it. Like,
yeah. And I was talking to Mark Day, Happy Mondays, of course. They're a Manchester band.
yes, of course. Of course,
so
I do. Yeah.
Just had a great chat with Mark Day last night, and I dived into the history before I had the chat with him. I've always liked Happy Mondays, even though I'm a metalhead. I just thought they were one of those bands who had a great groove and some dance characteristics, and they kicked off rave culture. All that stuff comes from where, probably to your point, 20 kilometres from where you're sitting right now, or less in terms of the radius. But we were talking about how the London scene, so the London executives, they couldn't have given a shit about the northern bands and the factory record scene and the Hacienda scene and this sort of thing. It was really something where those bands were just, they had to find their own way in an environment where there was they had to beat down the door. They had to
exactly
that pass. So that's the attitude that you come from. So whether you're an Oasis, Happy Mondays, or Ingested, the same philosophy applies.
Yeah, totally. Because all we've ever, like, the industry in the UK, like up until about, well, probably still happening now, but like till around about a year ago or whatever. So like for the first 17 years, the metal industry, like the media and the industry in this country, all they've ever done is shut the door in our face. All they've ever done, like, is shut the door in our face over and over again, because we've never been the media darlings in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've always been these rough fucking guys from council estates, Manchester. Lynn's from a fucking council estate in fucking the arsehole of nowhere in Wales, like in the fucking valleys. Do you know what I mean? We've never been what they wanted to push. And like you said about like factory records, the Hacienda, like the Manchester scene in the early 90s, you had to bang that fucking door down because they don't give a shit. Like, and that's what we've had to do. Because it's like, if you look at the stuff that we've achieved and the career that we've had so far, like, we're fucking 3 working class guys from England that have took a fucking death metal band and toured all over Europe, toured all over fucking America, had like sellout shows, headline shows in America, done massive tours. And nobody in the industry in the UK has ever given a shit about us. And it's like, we've achieved more than loads of these bands that you're fucking sucking off. Like, do you know what I mean? And you're just ignoring us. Well, fine. Okay, then, if that's how it is. And here's where the fucking Manchester attitude comes in. I'm just like, fuck you. Like, fuck you. We'll achieve everything in spite of you. In spite of you closing the doors on us, in spite of you ignoring us and acting like we don't exist, we will achieve everything. Do you know what I mean? And then when all's said and done, don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Fuck you. Like, Do you get, actually, I'll just do a time check. Dicey sent through the schedule. It looked like we're only on 15-minute blocks, or have I got more time to chat with you? It's fine. You're my last interview for today now. So.
Thanks. Great. Yeah, he normally does that with me because he knows what I'm like. So, But no, that's great. And the success that you've had, has Kerrang, I can't even say terrorise anymore because they haven't been around for years, but those mastheads, like, is it Metal Hammer? I don't even know whether they're still around. They don't give a fuck about us. They don't give a fuck about us. They've never given a fuck about us. Kerrang, we've never been in Kerrang. Metal Hammer, I think, did like a review of one of our albums, or maybe they reviewed a couple of our albums. But they've not done an interview and a centerpiece where they've talked about... No, none of that shit. Like, none of that shit. None of this. Oh, you're doing a headline tour in America and like most of it's sold out. That's amazing for a UK band. Wow, that's fucking awesome. Maybe we should get you on the fucking magazine. Nope, none of that shit. Oh, you're touring with Cannibal Corpse, the biggest death metal band of all time. Nope, don't want to know about that. Oh, you're doing the tour you've just done an American tour with Lorna Shore, and now you're doing a fucking
European tour with Lorna Shore, one of the biggest fucking bands in extreme metal at the moment. Nope, don't give a shit about that. Like, do you know what I mean? You're going to Australia for the first time ever. Oh my God, that's amazing. No, don't give a shit about that. They don't give a fuck. Like, and it's like we're achieving all these things, and yet you're pushing these fucking shit bands that, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
like,
you're talking
whatever.
exactly.
Like,
but I've just got to raise the point. You're talking exactly. I've been doing this for 6 years. Okay, the podcast, and I mean, I name the outlets. I can't. And look, they might have given you some love. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but I just can't stand the decibels, the blabbermouths. Even though they give me a lot of coverage, all of this shit. But it's doing it. It's not. When I say it's giving me coverage, clickbait. They're not picking up on the important parts of the conversation and go, say, for example, with Ingested, this is the band, not little band, sorry, I don't mean to say it like that, but this is the band that had the odds stacked against them in Manchester, and they're able to do it. So the metal hammers, the Kerangas, the decibels, I couldn't even metal injection and all this bullshit in the United States, these other ones. And it's like they only exist for the advertising revenue. You know that's what it is, don't you?
Yeah, totally. That's 100% what it is.
They're only there for that. And if the fans that are listening, people listening, want to argue and say, oh, no, they've got other interests at heart, it's like, no, they're a business. No. They're just a smaller business, but they're still a business. And that's the only reason that they do it. I'm independent, so I'll have conversations that last for hours or what have you. Okay, I've already got a job. Okay, but when it comes to the band, it's a bit of a different story because you've actually got to kill a back catalogue. You've got 10 combined EPs and albums. Okay, yep. You've proven that you can do it, and you've actually got to the point now where it's only up. Okay, so at what point do these mastheads kick in and go, okay, a bit like the story with the ex-members of Cradle of Filth, like Stuart Anstis, God rest his soul. They just don't reach out and have conversations with these people. No. The guys that actually wrote the fucking albums. He wrote Cruelty and the Beast with Nick Barker. I know they don't care. Yeah. They don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They absolutely don't give a shit. And it's like, I'm now at the point where I'm just like, I don't give a fuck now. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not like you used to be like, oh, I really want to be in Kerrang, really want to be in metal, I really want to be on this website, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm just like, fuck you, man. We've achieved everything we did without you. Like, in spite of you. Like, in spite of you fucking ignoring us. Like, so fuck you. Like, fuck you all. Like, and then when you come and you do want to do something, I'll put you on blast and I'll just say, like, why the fuck has it took you fucking this long? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. Why would you not, like, the one that annoys me the most is the one in the UK. It's like, why would you not want to get behind a band that's done this? Do you know what I mean? Why would you not want to, like, get behind one of your own? It makes no sense.
And you're on Metal Blade, I just
don't understand it. We're on fucking Metal Blade Records, doing massive tours all over the world, and you don't even want to support your boys. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is crazy. Like, but it just goes to show that it's like, it's not about like actual fucking metal journalism. It's about fucking clickbait. It's about ad revenue. It's about, like, look at it. Like, just go on fucking Instagram and look at their fucking pages. It's just all clickbait. Oh, go to this link. Link in bio, link in bio, link in bio. Like, yeah, link in bio 100%. Because it links you to the page where all the fucking adverts are. Like, fuck off. Like, yeah,
you
I can't be arsed with
it.
Fuck them. Fuck them.
But
this is it though. This is that working class fucking northern fucking attitude that, like I said, is like such an important part of Ingested. It's just fuck you. Fuck you then. Like, if you don't want to fucking get behind your boys, then fucking suck my dick. I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Good on you, mate. I do, mate, and I commend you absolutely for it, because I've spoken to, especially, you know, when I say younger bands, people of your ilk, even though you're veterans in one respect, given the combined albums that you've got, but they self-censor. I've even had a run-in with the band recently for some of the comments. So I was like fucking asking them certain questions. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's like, hang on a sec, we're just having conversations, but because the conversations don't align with things that might be politically charged, or there might be commentary on social issues or what have you, they contact the agent. They say, I don't want that chat out there. I want to have a listen to it before it goes out there. You know what I say? It's not going out. I'm not doing it. I'm like you, mate. I'm not doing it. Yeah, buggy it.
Yeah. There's two. Like,
So a move to the United States, have you guys thought about that? I mean, that's your bread and butter. That's where the audience is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's our biggest fan base. like by a mile. Like the headline tour that we did there just in May, that was our biggest headline tour, most successful headline tour of all time that we've ever done. Loads of the shows sold out, and the ones that didn't sell out were almost sold out, apart from one that was shite. But, you know, swings and roundabouts in it. Like, can't get a gold medal every day, can you? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was like super successful. We always do really, really well in America. As far as an actual move out there, it's not something that I'd want to do. Like, just because all my family are here. Like, do you know what I mean? I've got a wife and kids. I don't want to uproot them and take them to another fucking country and shit. And it's like, do you know what I mean? It's not something that appeals to me. I mean, it would probably be better for the band in the long run, maybe. But then again, maybe not, because then if you're over there all the time, you're touring there all the time, and then you become oversaturated in the market. But like there's a lot of American bands that just constantly tour fucking America all the time. And then it's like you see that they're not going up. They're just kind of plateaued. And I don't want to plateau. I just want to keep climbing. I don't care how long it takes or how slow the climb or gradual the climb is. I'm not asked about that. Like, do you know what I mean? As long as we're always constantly moving forward, like with regards to our career and musically and creatively, I'm fine with that. Do you know what I mean? I just want to move, because this is the thing. I'm not asked about fame. I'm not asked about money. Do you know what I mean? Like, all I want money-wise is that my bills are paid. There's a roof over my wife and kids' head. They've got food, and that they don't have to worry about like fucking paying the bills, or, you know, like, do you know what I mean? We can live comfortably. I don't want them to grow up the way that I grew up. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking worrying about fucking bills and like all that shit. Yep. Like, I don't want that. As long as you've got, like, I'm not greedy. I don't want to be fucking super rich or anything. I don't care about that. I just want to be comfortable and not have to worry. Because, like I said, I'm not asked about, I don't care about going viral or any of that shit. Like, all I want is that at the end of this career, when this band's said and done, I want people to look back and go, fucking hell, Ingested were one of the best death metal bands of all time. That is it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, that's it. I just want that. It's a legacy thing. I want to go down in history as one of the best. I'm not asked about like fucking being famous, or, do you know what I mean? I like walking down the street and not being hassled and shit. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not into that. Like, that's not what I want. I want to do what I love as a job, not have to worry about bills, and create something that's got a lasting legacy that people remember, like when I'm long after I'm dead and gone. Do you know what I mean? Something that my kids can look back on and go, fucking hell, Dad was well cool. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. Relate. Like,
yeah. Talking about kids and family, is that your biggest challenge, finding balance between being away for so long and then coming back and, you know, fitting back into family life again?
Yeah and no. I mean, my wife's an absolute soldier. She's amazing. Like, she's fucking brilliant. We got together. I was already in the band when we got together, and so she knew what my goals were and what I wanted to do as a career.
Didn't try to change you either from the sounds of things.
No, never. She told me to quit my job when the rest of the band was like, right, I think we're getting to a point where we can do this full time now and we don't have to have jobs. I had a job as a restaurant manager, like good, decent money. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Good job. Like, would have been a long career, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was a proper career. Like, I was good at it as well. But it wasn't what I wanted to do. Like, this is what I've always wanted to do. Like, ever since I saw the Pantera home videos when I was like fucking 13, like, I was just like, that is it. That is what I want to do. And she knows that. And she was like, I was like, in and ahhing, because obviously I'm like, it's a bit of a financial risk. Like, at the time we only had one child. And I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And she went, quit the fucking job. Go and do the band. She was like, why are you even thinking about it? She was like, this is everything you've ever wanted to do. Do it. I was like, but what about like, and she's like, we'll manage. we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. And so I go away for like a month, maybe a month and a half on tour, and then she's at home with the kids. She also works like a couple of days a week as well. Like she's a trooper. She's an absolute soldier. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything that I do without her. Yeah, and when I'm on tour, I FaceTime her and the kids every day. Yeah. Even if it's only for 10 minutes or whatever, like, because obviously it depends where I am in the world and that, like, so I speak to him every day. So yeah, when I get home, it's like I get to be a full-time dad, which is something that when I had a full-time job, when I was working, like doing the restaurant managing, so like sometimes I'd be there from like 8 a.m. till like 1 a.m. And maybe I'd be working 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. Do you know what I mean? So I'd never be home. Like I'd never be home, even though I was sleeping at home. I was never at home. I was never present. Whereas whereas now, now it's like, yeah, all right, I might go away for 5 weeks to work, but then when I come home and I've got a month off or whatever, I'm home. Like I'm present. I'm here. Like I'm full-time dad mode. Like which is fucking great. So it's like I spend, even though like I've been on tour for the past 2 years, I spent more time at home with my family than I ever did when I had a full-time job. Yeah. So yeah, it's great. It's great. It's like obviously like that's the hardest part of touring is like being away from the wife and kids because I miss them like fuck. But you know, it's like this is what I was born to do. Do you know what I mean? This is what I know I was made to do. Like because I love doing it so much. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's it. I couldn't do anything else. Like, and it's like, it's going back to, it's like, I don't, obviously like with doing the restaurant managing and doing all these other jobs, because I've worked since I was like, when did I get my first job? My first job, I was 12 years old and I got a job cleaning the car park of a pub because I was too young to get a paper round. This is what I mean about growing up in that environment. I wanted to work. I wanted to earn money to get out of where I was. So it was like I mithered my granddad to get me a job cleaning the car park on a Saturday morning.
Oh my God.
At his friend's pub.
All the broken glass and vomit.
Yeah, everything, all the ash, everything, just whatever was there. Like, and he'd pay me a £5. And that to me, that was a lot of money. Like when I'm 12 years old and I never had money, like £5 a week. I was like, fucking yeah. And then a year after that, I was old enough to get a paper round. So then I got a paper round and that paid me £8 a week. And I did a paper round every single day. And then after that,
freezing winters, mate. Jesus.
Yeah. Freezing, mate. Oh. And then I'd worked, then I got like proper jobs from being 16 up until like I started working in restaurants, and then I got promoted and became a manager and shit. Yeah, I've kind of lost my trail of thought where I was going with that.
It's a good one, mate. No, it's a great summary.
Yeah.
But after you've said what I'm getting a picture of is I understand why Brian likes you guys. So do you deal with Brian directly at Metal Blade?
I've never spoke to him. I've never spoke to Brian. Not yet. I'm hoping to meet him soon. But we've dealt with everybody else. Like we've spoke to everybody else, but we've not met Brian yet. I mean, we've not even been on the label for a year yet. So
yeah,
you know,
you deal with Joey Vera's wife. Is it Tracy Vera? Is that her name?
Yes. Yeah, we deal with Tracy. Yeah. She's lovely.
Yeah, Joey's fantastic. He's one of my bass heroes. So I got to speak to him only a couple of years ago. You're going to say recently, yeah. But Tracy seems lovely too, just from her social media feed and the fact that she's married to Joey.
Nah, she's lovely. She's lovely. She's come out to a lot of our shows whenever we've played. Like she's great. Yeah. But yeah, like I think that like work ethic and that drive and that like wanting to, like we said, be the hardest worker in every room that we're in. I think that is why Metal Blade and Brian like us so much, and the Metal Blade team like us so much, because it's like we will, whatever we say we're going to do, we will deliver on it and more every single time. Like we're here to impress. Do you know what I mean? We're here to work our asses off. because
I
we
reckon
want it.
you guys are going to be on that label until you don't want to be, from the sounds of things. Then, because I just finished reading his book a couple of weeks ago, and he just wants bands to be true to themselves and to do their own thing and to have an identity and to be hardworking. That's pretty much summarizes it.
Yeah.
And that's you guys down to a T. And it's Metal Blade, for God's sake. So you've got this awesome distribution network which can actually help grow the band. You know, you guys will do the touring anyway. But if someone wants to get your CD, their physical copy or a T-shirt, or have you got the distribution networks to actually make that happen?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Like, we've always wanted to be on Metal Blade, like since we fucking started this band, because Cannibal Corpse being the main reason. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like we Cannibal Corpse was like, oh my God, it's Cannibal Corpse, and now we're on the same fucking label as them. We've just done a tour with them. It's fucking awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's fucking great. Metal Blade have been fantastic with us, like since even before we signed to them, even like in the signing process, they were fantastic. They've always been accommodating to us, and they always check in with us, and it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm just like super happy. Like, it's nice. It's nice because it's like, it feels like it's nice to feel like appreciated. Do you know what I mean? And feel like really we were welcomed in. They appreciate all the hard work that we do, like, and it seems like they really want us to be there on the label, which is fucking awesome. It feels like an actual home. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas like other times it's just sort of felt like it's business and we're on a label, and that's, do you know what I mean? That's all it is. Whereas this is like, they really want us to be there, which is great because we really want to be there. So
just the tour with Cannibal as well. I reckon Eric's one of my favourite people in the world. Did you get much chance to interface with him and chat with him on the tour?
Yeah, we were on tour with him for 7 weeks. Like, we hung out a lot. Like, it was great. We toured with Cannibal Corpse years and years ago. In like 2016. It was Summer Slaughter, but we didn't really get to hang out with any of them then, because it was like there was like 10 bands on the bill, and it's Summer Slaughter, which is just a clusterfuck. But this one, it was like we were hanging out every day, like chatting with them every day, and it was awesome. Like, they're all super nice guys, like the nicest like guys that I've ever met. Like in the entire scene. Like, they were just super, super nice. Like, always dead friendly, always wanting to chat, always got time, checking if everyone's all right, you got everything you need, like everything you want from like a headline band. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's, to me, like seeing a band like Cannibal Corpse being so nice and friendly and checking that, most importantly, checking everyone's okay all the time. They don't have to do that. Do you know what I mean? They're fucking Cannibal Corpse. Like, I've been on tour with bands that have headlined and they didn't give a shit about any of the support acts. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas they do, and they don't have to, but they go out of their way. And like, for me, that's inspiring to me. And that makes me want to always be like that on our headline tours. Do you know what I mean? Have the support bands got enough merch space? Has everybody got their buyout? Has everybody sorted? Wow. Is everything okay? Does anybody need anything? Is the like, do you know what I mean? Just checking that everyone's got everything they need. If there's any problems, making sure that all the other bands that are on the supports know that they can come and ask any one of us anything, and it's totally fine. It's not going to be a problem. If it can't be done, it'll be can't do that. But here's why. What else? What can we do though? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's super inspiring to me. So that was great. Like, because then we take that
the role models
on board. We take that shit on board and then behave like that, like make sure everyone's okay. So that they think that they're like, well, touring with Ingested is fucking awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I want bands to have a great time and make as much money as possible when they tour with us. That's what I want. Because it's like, you know, like when you go on tour and like they want like merch, like they want merch and shit. Like I'm always like, yeah, take whatever you want. Like, just speak to our merch guy, take whatever merch you want. And then they're like, do you want some of our merch? And I'm like, no, sell your merch. And then on the last day, I'm going to come and I'm going to rinse you. Like, but I want you to make money first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what I want. I want them to be successful. I want the tour to be successful, not just for us, but for everyone involved.
Are you potentially going to look at getting into management?
Me, no. I'm happy with doing what I'm doing. Like there's band like Lynn is into band management and stuff, but for me, like that's not what I want. I need to have that. The band is where I put all of my work energy into is that. And then the rest of it is for my family life. Do you know what I mean? My own time, because I think I don't want to spread myself too thin.
Yeah,
And
I'm hearing
I'd rather just concentrate on that. Maybe when this is all said and done, maybe when the band isn't doing it anymore, maybe like when I'm too old or whatever, like or my body packs in or whatever, like you never know what happens. Like, do you know what I mean? Maybe then that's something that I'd look into. But while the band's active, like it's not something that I want to do just because I like to have my time for I like being present for my wife and kids, like when I'm not working. Like that's really important for me. But yeah, so, like maybe when the band's over, maybe it's something I'd look into. But.
Oh, you could definitely do it, or coaching, that sort of thing, because just with your enthusiasm and your positivity, I think people will feed off that. Particularly, a lot of people have in music, that is their destiny, but they don't believe in it. Whereas you did when you had opportunities to drop it, especially having a stable role and a career and a family as well. I mean, I can only imagine you probably had some family members or close friends saying, I mean, you're crazy to drop that and play music because music doesn't pay anything, but you didn't listen and you went and did it. And 99 people out of 100 would say, hey, actually, you're right. That's great advice. I will stop playing music. But you didn't do that. But you must have had a plan above and beyond that. In other words, you must have had some acumen. Some business acumen. So do you reckon you pick that up from those very early days, just working your way up, picking up all the vomit and broken glass in the pub there? You reckon it comes from that?
I think it's more to do with it's the work ethic thing. It's that drive. But then like as I grew older and developed more skills, especially when I started management, like that was where I really started picking up skills in like terms of like how to encourage people. Because like my management style when I worked in restaurants it wasn't I'm telling you what to do. I want to encourage you to think for yourself and go and do it yourself and want to go and do it rather than me sounding like I'm just giving you an instruction to go and do something. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I wanted to build a team. Do you know what I mean? That will all row the same way and want to help each other and want to get together like and achieve something as a unit rather than go and do that for me, go and clear that table. Do you know what I mean? So like I'd be out there doing the work with them. You know what I mean? Like, because I want to show you that I'm doing it. I'm never going to ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and most management is, in my experience, especially as a young fellow, was just about telling you what to do and admonishing you when you didn't do it quick enough. That was so typical of the middle management type. I'm still like that to this day. I've got a very strong distrust of middle management types. It takes me a while to warm to people when they're in those roles because I've got to see them in action. It can take up to 18 months. And I'm very, very fortunate at the moment in that I'm an independent operator these days. I still have a boss, but she just lets me do my thing because she trusts me. But it takes a while to get to that point with people, doesn't it? And it can burn you out. That's the other thing. You can get burnt out and you hate your job. And especially if you've got a family, the last thing you want to do is come home and be a prick around them.
Exactly.
If you've been dealing with assholes all day yourself.
Exactly. And like working in restaurants, my God, we had to deal with some assholes. Like it was fucking crazy. But it was like, again, it was about learning those interpersonal skills where it's all like you got to, like a lot of people take it personally.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that you have to like instill in yourself and in your team as well. Like, don't take it personally. It's not personal. They don't know you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, kill them with kindness. It's gonna be shit. But do you know what? We'll laugh about it in the kitchen in about 10 minutes and we'll call them all the names under the sun. Do you know what I mean? And we'll have a fucking joke about it. So just fucking give them what they want, get them out the door, and then let's go and take the piss out of them in the kitchen.
So true.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So true,
so it's
brother.
about how you deal with arseholes. Because there's always going to be arseholes. This is the thing. Like in a perfect world, they wouldn't exist. But it's not a perfect world, and it's never going to be. There's always going to be arseholes from all walks of life. So it's just about learning how to navigate around it and like dealing with it and just not taking it personally. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like this shit, like if you go on the internet and shit, like with us being a band and putting our music and ourselves out into the public space, it's like we get a lot of shit. Do you know what I mean? Because everybody's got an opinion, and that's totally fine. Do you know what I mean? Like I might not agree with them, but like it's totally fine to have an opinion. Like that's fine. But yeah, it's like that's what you get when you put things out into the public space. And obviously, fucking social media now has like made everybody think that their opinions like the most important thing critic ever. Yeah. And it's like it's all bullshit. Like, do you know what I mean? But again, it's just an opinion. Who cares? It's not personal. Like, do you know what I mean? If you like my band, that's fucking great, and I thank you, and I'm super appreciative of it. And we'll keep putting out great music and playing great shows for you. If you don't like my band, I can't give a fuck. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, I'm making music for me that I want to hear. Like, because I'm not chasing something. Do you know what I mean? I'm just we're creating. We're not chasing something. Like, there's a lot of bands out there that are chasing shit, like chasing to go viral on fucking, I don't know, TikTok or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? But we're not. Like, I don't care about that. Like, I just want to create something that's real. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that has a soul. Like, I think if you're chasing something for either money or fame or to go viral or, do you know what I mean? Like that, it's soulless. You're not doing it for the right reason. You're not making something that you want. You're making something that you think they want.
Correct. Yeah.
And it
doesn't work.
Like,
it just doesn't work. It makes you look like a fool.
Of course it does. I mean, like, look at Lorna Shaw. They put that song out and it went viral, and that was totally organic. They didn't do that to do that. It just happened. But now you look at all these other bands that are trying to do it, that are trying to do what Lorna Shaw did. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. It just happened. Like, it happened completely organically. They put something out and everyone fucking went bananas. That's it. Do you know what I mean? You can't try and emulate that because it was lightning in a bottle. Do you know what I mean? Like, and to me, like trying to chase something like that, especially trying to chase something that somebody else has done, like, it's just weak. Do you know what I mean? It's just like soulless. Like, there's nothing to it. Why are you doing it? You're doing it for the wrong reasons.
But did you see these? It's not a music thing, but did you see there was this TikTok thing with non-player characters? They had these girls pretending to be non-player characters in games. Did you ever see that? The videos?
Oh yeah. I've seen like one video. Like, I think it was on YouTube,
like this shit and stuff. And
it's
ice
mad,
cream yum, ice cream yum.
Yeah, that's the one I saw. That's the one I saw. Yeah. I was like, I don't even know what I'm watching. I think it came up on like it was like part of a YouTube video. It might have been fucking Joe Rogan.
I think so. I think he talked about it.
I was watching Joe Rogan. I think he was talking to Post Malone or something. And like, it was, I was just like, what? I don't get it. Like, I know what a non-player character is. I played Skyrim for like most of my fucking life. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? I know what they are, but I didn't know this was a thing now. Like, it's fucking.
But that's my
weird,
point.
Isn't it?
But
the internet's a weird place, bro.
But imagine trying to predict that that's the next thing that you've got to try to emulate. And that's my point. You don't know what's coming around the corner. I saw that come up and I thought they were mentally ill, these people, because of the way that they were. Like, it was it was one of those things. This is
the thing, though. You can't tell anymore. You can't tell anymore because people do such wild shit, like, in order to, like, just be on the internet. Now you're just like, I don't know who's crazy and who isn't anymore. Like, it's like you don't know whether they are crazy or whether it's like they're just doing a bit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's fucking mad.
That was one of the few times where I've gone, what the hell is going on here? If this is what the internet is about, that, and you have to have seen that chick called Queen of Farts. Have you seen her on TikTok? Queen of Farts 84.
No. See, I don't have TikTok. I had it on my phone for like
I don't have it either,
and I was like, no, this is going, and I deleted it.
Yeah. I know I did the same thing, but this thing came through on Instagram, and that little TikTok sign on the bottom, and this chick who rips the most enormous farts. She's an English chick, and she lets these farts go that I couldn't do if you paid me. If my life was on the line, there's just no way. She just must have this colon from hell, this chick, and Queen of Farts is her name, and she had this huge following. I think she's gone now. I think she's taken down her account now or something. But my point is that the depths you have to plumb in order to go viral aren't worth it.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's like I think it's better to just do what you do what you love to do. And if you catch lightning in a bottle, like Lorna did, then it happens. Just let it happen. That's fine. But if you're chasing it, man, it's a dragon that you're never going to catch. Do you know what I mean? You're never going to catch it. Like it's always like you're never going to get it because it's not real. It just has to be something that just happens, I think.
Do you have
that Queen of Farts sounds actually quite funny though, because I think farts are funny. Like, do you know what I mean?
These ones are disgusting, bro. Like, but like they're long, and she's pretty big. You know what I mean? She looks like she's got some weight behind it. And
amazing.
She does this thing where she farts and she says egg, egg, egg or something. And we were walking around.
See, now you've turned it into something completely different. Now, like now it's weird. When it was just farts, it was fine, but now the egg thing's like weird.
I've got to find it. Come on, because we're talking about it. I'll see if I know she deleted her account, I think, but I'm not on TikTok. Farts. I can't remember. It's 82 or 87 or something. I know that because the kids thought it was hilarious. So I was showing the kids the video. Hang on, where is it? You can see part of it here, I think. Anyway, here we go. Okay. Hang on, that's not the bad one. This is the bad one.
What?
Yeah. It's just all these videos like that. Her account was just full of them. And like, oh, God help us, but the kids, I've got 2 daughters. They're just, I mean, that sort of stuff is just manna from heaven in terms of laughing for the rest of the night. But somebody's done that. And the point is that, like, you would never have, when the internet was created or when it was first coming through in the mid-90s, and it was called the information superhighway, and, there was all this side, and Carter was around and all these sort of things, you would never have predicted that this is one of the endpoints. This is one of the roads that it goes down, someone recording their farts.
So, where does it go from here, though? That's the real question.
I think it's
where does it go from here? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
wherever Google Glass is headed, I think is where it goes, where people are just going to immerse themselves on Neuralink. That's got to be where it's headed to. The Elon Musk technology. And I'm not against that either philosophically, because I think it's here, and it's a bit like the Chat GPT thing these days. You can't go on to Twitter without reading content that I'm a journo, so I read it and I go, it's Chat GPT, because I know it writes in a certain way.
Yeah,
because it's.
When you write, people are even getting fucking AI to write music now.
Oh, it's horrible. Have you
seen that AI metal band? Completely artificial intelligence metal band. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. If you put it in on YouTube, after we've had the conversation, put it in on YouTube, put AI metal band, and it'll come up, and it's a music video, and it's like a computer generated music video, and it's the band are like orcs and shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the music is completely AI generated, and it sounds like fucking a man and a half.
Oh wow,
it's mad.
Okay.
Like, it's completely like so. Give it 20 years, maybe bands like me will be completely obsolete.
Well, the way I look at it is,
need us anymore.
Yeah, that's possible. But the way I look at it is, when you go back and you listen to a lot of the electronic music from the late 70s and early 80s, I mean, how bad does it sound? When the technology was in its infancy, and there's some stuff that used a Fairlight machine that survived, like the Frankie Goes to Hollywood stuff or what have you. But a lot of that other shit just sounds terrible. And stuff. Yeah.
But that stuff was still programmed by humans, though. Like, do you know what I mean?
I know.
That still had the human element to it, whereas the AI music isn't. it's just AI generated. Like it generates everything. It writes it all. It generates the sound, the vocals, everything. It's all AI generated, which is mental. Like
maybe the next
at least like
generation,
Kraftwerk and that were creating electro music by actual humans doing it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I've listened to there's the bloke or whoever it is that does the Michael Jackson stuff, creates new songs that sound like Michael Jackson. There's the Beatles one. There's definitely the Metallica one, but it all sounds like shit to me. I listened to it and it's vaguely sort of resembles it, but it's decades away potentially of actually replacing the real thing. I was talking to Thunderstick just before I got on the call to you, and the big thing these days, and you might have noticed this in your travels, but the tribute or the cover thing. So the Iron Maiden cover or the Slipknot cover band, they're selling tickets to thousands of people these days.
It's crazy. Like it's mad.
Yeah,
it's I've never understood that. Like I've never, like, do you know what I mean? Because it's like,
guys in Dragon
how are they
Force
selling so many fucking tickets? Like, how are you selling so many tickets?
Mate, they tour here. They come from wherever they come from, and the System of a Down show, for example, the world's biggest one, is from the UK, and it's got the members of Dragon Force in it.
Fucking hell, man!
It's so bizarre, and it's like, I get it. You want to earn money, you got to put food on the table and a roof over your head. Like the conversation we had up top, I understand that, but even I've been offered a Slipknot show here because I'm a muso too, and I'll do it. It's interesting, but I don't know. At some point, will I sort of migrate into that entire sphere? Because I do play covers, but that's been going on since the bloody 50s, for God's sakes, cover bands and stuff. So I play everything.
But covers is different though. But like making a career of pretending to be someone else is like, I don't know, for me.
Yeah,
like
pretending to be Paul Gray with the mask on, or V-Man, whatever he's called
like,
these days. So I don't know who they are, but
that's like, to me, that's way beyond anything that I could ever want to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's like, for me, it's like, I mean, playing covers is fine. Everyone's played covers. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's one thing. But making an actual career of pretending to be a different band is mad to me. That's crazy. And succeeding in it is even madder.
I know. It's
like, why? Like, I wouldn't ever want to go and see a Slipknot tribute band. I want to go and see Slipknot. Like,
I know, it's weird.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't
even want to see Slipknot, to be honest with you, but that's okay. They're not my thing. I remember, I saw them in year 2000 when they were apparently the hottest thing that ever existed. And I thought they were garbage, to be honest with you. It just sounded like bang. It sounded like that. Honestly, you know what it sounded like to me? It sounded like that Metallica album that came out a few years afterwards with the tin can drum sound.
Oh, Saint Anger. That is the worst drum sound I've ever heard. I can't say anything bad about Slipknot because I
oh, you're a fan,
I was obsessed with them like back in the day. Like, so like they were one of the bands that like got me into this, because I would have been like, what, 2000? When did their first album come out? Because I remember the first album, 1999.
I remember getting 99. I did buy that actually.
I'd have been 12. I'd have been 12 when I got that album. So that was like very early on in me getting into metal. So like I have to give them props, because I was a big fucking Slipknot fan. I still like Slipknot now. I like the earlier stuff. I don't really give a shit about the stuff they put out nowadays. But like those first two albums are shit off for me. Like,
I know what you're saying. It was just tough for me as an old school Morbid Angel, Suffocation, Cannibal Corpse fan, Deicide, Obituary. You know, you listen to these bands, and then this new hottest thing comes along. It's like, it just sounds like white noise. I can appreciate that it's still extreme, but where's the Trey Zagtoth Blitzkrieg guitar solos, Eddie Van Halen style guitar solos and stuff that I was conditioned to listen to. But look, every band's got their generation. You know what I mean? Heap shit on them. It's just exactly. It was one of those.
If it weren't for them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have got into Suffocation and Cannibal Corpse and Dying Fetus, and like that. They were my sort of not necessarily a gateway, but at least a bridge over to that extreme blast beats and all the harsh vocals and stuff like. And if it weren't for them, and Fear Factory, early Fear Factory, if it weren't for those two bands, I probably wouldn't be listening to death metal, to be honest. Like, because it's like I heard that, and then I was like, well, how extreme does it go? Like, do you know what I mean? And then I start getting into the suffocations and the
That's
cannibal
awesome.
corpses and an obituary, and that's like basically. So I have to thank them for getting me into what I'm into, basically.
Yeah. Have you been keeping up with what's, not that I think anything's going on with Morbid Angel, but are you a fan of the band and you know what's going on there?
I like Altars of Madness, and I think is it Covenant? There's two Morbid Angel, but Morbid Angel were never really one of the death metal bands that I was like super into.
Wow. Okay.
They were like, I don't know why. I loved Altars of Madness. I think Altars of Madness is a great album, but like I never really, don't know. I just, you know, like when something just doesn't grab you, like Suffocation grabbed me, Cannibal Corpse grabbed me, Fetus grabbed me, but I don't know why. Like maybe it just didn't resonate with me.
What the hell is happening with the group? I know they had that disaster. That poor bloke died in Chicago, was it, or just outside of Chicago? You know, when the roof collapsed, and that was terrible.
Oh, yeah. Fucking hell, yeah. We were on tour when that happened. That was fucking crazy. We were in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal, that, man. Like, but it's just how are you ever going to know that was going to happen? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just a fucking freak fucking disaster, isn't it? Was it like a hurricane or some shit?
It was being reported as a hurricane, yeah. But I think,
fucking hell.
See, we get cyclones down here, and cyclones may take out entire cities, as you know, towns and stuff like that, just decimate things. And so a hurricane, I always thought, must have been the equivalent, but a hurricane must just be a very strong storm.
Yeah,
but the structural integrity,
super powerful winds in a hurricane.
Yeah, the structural integrity of that bloody building that they were playing in was obviously compromised for that to happen. Yeah. So I just first thing I thought was that poor bastard. He was there with his son. So you talk about that intergenerational
fucking hell. That's
thing,
awful.
You know. And I read that and I thought, oh, you poor people, you know. And just that it happened at a Morbid Angel show. They've had a run of outs lately. Dre got arrested a couple of years ago for a DUI. I've spoken to his mum before for the show. And she told me some stuff that I didn't put to air and stuff. And he's got Asperger's. She told me that. I think it might be the first time that was revealed. People might have had an inkling, but yeah, you see, he's got a private YouTube channel where you can go and see some of the things that he gets up to on tour, and he's definitely different, no question about that. But he's a fucking genius as well. That's the other thing, and it would just be so sad if he, and I'm not suggesting that he is for any of the fucking peanut gallery listening, but if he can't tour or they can't release new albums anymore for whatever reason because they can't hold down a lineup. And Dan Baden Von, their guitarist, is a top fella as well. He came down here and played bass in Incantation.
Really?
Yeah. He gave me his pick, actually. Just Morbid Angel. He's got the Morbid Angel thing embossed on it. Yeah, he's a top fella. And they're good people, man. That's the point. They're good people. I just hope it sort of continues. And you're in amongst all of that scene, particularly with the volume of touring that you've done around the United States. You know, guys like me just want some of those old classic bands just to continue going, but mate, they're not getting any younger. And
this is the thing. It's like, do you know what I mean? All our legendary like bands in the scene, they're human. Do you know what I mean? They're all getting older. Like, and it's like you can't do it forever. Do you know what I mean? Like, even I'm aware of that. I'm 36 now, and it's like I'm fully aware that there's going to be a point where I can't do this anymore, because you gotta think, like, these death metal bands, they're not playing music like Metallica. Do you know what I mean? You can't get up on stage and play fucking death metal for fucking 3.5 hours when you're in your 50s. You can't do it when you're in your fucking 30s. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's so extreme and it's so brutal. You can't do it. It's not sustainable. Like, it's an extreme form of music. So it's like, you know what I mean? These bands are eventually they're not going to be as active anymore. No. But this is where bands like Ingested come in.
Correct. You know, you're that next generation pushing up, but there are no bullshit bands that are doing it. Yeah.
These spots, like, as much as it pains me to say, because I fucking love these bands, like, but these spots are gonna become available soon. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the next 10, 15 years. Like, and it's like, then that's when this generation of bands then move up Do you know what I mean? Like the ingesteds, the cattle decapitations, the aborteds. Like, do you know what I mean? That's
But that's
what
to your
we're
point
all.
though. It's the no
Yeah.
bullshit bands. Like there's
Yeah.
how I believe it works, and I've been around long enough to see this just from a fan's perspective, is that when Cannibal bring out a band like you guys and it's on an 8 or 9 week run like what it was, they're effectively saying to the audience, he's the guys that we're passing the baton to. We're not going to do this for probably another decade, mate, because they're in their mid-50s, aren't they? Late 50s at this point.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So.
I'm 45, mate, and I can't go into a mosh pit. It exhausts me. And I swim 4 times a week too. So I drink, but I'm not lazy is what I'm saying. I'm not out of form slob either. I can actually handle it, but they just ruin me. The next day I feel like, I'm not flexible. So my arms hurt and back hurts and all the rest of it. I can't imagine headbanging like the way Eric and Alex do it.
Yeah.
Rob doesn't really do it, but the way Eric and Alex do it and fucking Corpse Grinder.
Corpse Grinder, man.
Shit that he
Jesus
does.
Christ. Like, and it's for the whole like 70 minutes as well, like they're on stage.
Yeah.
They're all at it, like, and it's fucking amazing. But that shows you like their drive to give a show. Do you know what I mean? Like they're fucking leaving it all out on the stage every night. And it's inspiring to watch because it's like, well, I hope I'm still doing that when I get to that age. Do you know what I mean? But like you said about like and passing the torch, like I hope that is how it's seen. Like because we deserve it, man. We deserve that spot. We work our fucking bollocks off and we make great music. We put on amazing shows, and we'll always work harder than anybody who stood next to us. So it's like I want that spot. Like, do you know what I mean? I want it. Like, and I'll work my bollocks off to get to it. Like,
and real fans get that. Real fans will understand that, to your point. I totally get it now having this conversation with you. And that's why these sort of long form conversations are so important as well. So as though fans out there, the ones that give a shit, I just, it's not a rant when I say this, but I get a bit annoyed with the passive nature and the transient nature of a lot of fans as well. Like I want them to honour the work that you've done too. And I want them to turn up to the shows and actually foster. The key word there is foster. And that's my point around. It's not a selfish. I've got no skin in the game at all. They listen to me or they don't listen to me. I've got whatever. I don't do this for money. It's something else. But for you guys to the cool bands that you want to see keep going, they've got to support you guys. They've actually got to go to the tour. So I hope this ARCHSPIRE tour it's in October, isn't it? I hope it's sold out.
Yeah. I hope so. I think that if some of them aren't sold out, they're getting close to, which is fucking awesome because it's our first time ever in Australia, which is well, one, it's super exciting because it's always somewhere that we've wanted to tour, but being able to play in front of big crowds on our first Australian tour is going to be an absolute killer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I hope that all the people that have been waiting so long to see us have a fucking awesome time and leave with a smile on their face. And all the people that have never heard of us before are going to fucking leave and check out our fucking music.
Or and buy a t-shirt.
I just want to, buy a t-shirt, like anything. Like, I want to make our old fans' day. And I want to make shitloads of new fans. I want to impress everyone. That's the goal for this tour, is to fucking smash it out of the park.
Dicey's the man too. I can assure you of that. Dicey's he's done Phil Anselmo, Mayhem, the works, Cannibal, the whole thing, man. And the other thing too is just, as I talk to him sometimes on the phone, he's just a fucking good guy.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. So you got, honestly, there are a few other boutique people who bring bands over and stuff, and I'm not shitting on them at all. They're all nice people, but Dicey's really the guy that he's done tour management in Europe too. He's sort of been around and done a lot, and he's one of those guys. If you can get him to share some stories with you, mate, he's got stories for days.
All right, well, I'll remember to ask.
Killer. Mate, it's been fantastic to have this chat. Thanks so much for being open to it and for willing to share so much of your story.
Man.
This is why I do this, man. I got to be honest. It's I'm really over having the other type of superficial conversations because it's boring, I think, for the audience. What you've given to the listenership here, I think, is a real deep dive into why you are who you are and why you do what you do, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, I love having conversations like this. I wish all my interviews were like this, because I like you said, it gets boring for me as well when it's just always the same questions, and it's like a very question and answer sort of thing. Whereas I like to have a conversation. Like, I just, because then it goes wherever it goes. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, it's a proper conversation, and I have fun, you have fun, hopefully the listeners have fun, like, listening to it. And thank you for having me. I hope everybody who comes to the Australian shows has an absolutely fucking sick time. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
No worries, brother. I'll see you at the zoo in Brisbane anyway, meaning the venue called the Zoo. So I'll see you there, mate. I'll definitely be out there. So if I see you walking around, after your show or whatever like that, I'll tap you on the shoulder, mate. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sweet. It'd be nice to meet you.
For sure, brother. No worries. Well, safe journey, mate. Nice one. See you down here. Well, there you have it. What a terrific fella. I really enjoyed that conversation there with Jason. Can't wish the band enough success. Now, if you like that one, go across to scarsandguitars.com where many more await. And if you like listening, I bet you like reading because you're an intelligent audience. Click the link in the banner on my website. You'll be taken to a marketplace of your choice and you can download a sample. Yes. And look, if you're listening and you don't feel like downloading a sample, you want me to send you across the EPUB or the PDF edition of the book, just hit me up. Send me a DM or get in touch with me via the website. It's been out for over a year and a half now, the book. It's gone past my expectations, so always happy if people want to support the show. That's how you do it, by the way, is you buy the book. But otherwise, if you're hard up for cash or whatever and want something to read that's all related to hard rock, heavy metal, extreme metal and beyond, you know where to ask. All right, there's some more information to share with you about the book. But before we get to that, I'll bid you a fond farewell. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast. Until next time, it's a very goodbye for now.
This is Eric Rattan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew Mackay-Smith.
I've been the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast since 2017. The first musician I interviewed for the show was David Vincent from Morbid Angel, and things have just snowballed from there. In all, I've posted almost 650 podcast episodes featuring conversations with many of the leading lights of rock, heavy metal, and beyond. It just got to a point where I thought, I need to write a book about all this, so that's exactly what I did. In Scars and Guitars Volume 1, you'll read a heap of deep reveals and commentary, such as Des Fafara talking about Coal Chamber and why the band will never return.
If you're a band just starting out, you need to hear me. Do not start a band with partners. Ever.
Yeah, wise words there. Sage advice, mate, for anybody.
Don't ever, because I can't go do Coal Chamber right now unless I get others involved.
Phil Anselmo talks about the episode in his career which gives him the greatest sense of accomplishment.
I think the staying power of the fans and the staying power of the songs, whether it's Pantera, Down, or Superjoint, the fans remember the songs.
Alex Skolnick from Testament confirms that, yes, playing the guitar in Ozzy's band is anything but an ordinary gig. Will Silent Oz from Dimmu Borgir write a book? Pa from Sabaton gives advice to people who want to start a band.
Look at the team around you, look at the bandmates. If the guys want to be on the stage, then it's all cool. If the guys want to be backstage, then it's not going to be cool.
Current and former members of Cradle of Filth discuss the band's seminal 90s material. Read about the reaction to George Lynch and Mark from Suicide Silence's comments when they throw shade at then President Donald Trump.
We have this idiotic monster, this egotistical, self-aggrandizing, complete piece of shit in there. I just can't understand how we've gotten to this place.
And yeah, we kicked a hornet's nest with Sepultura. Percussive overlord Gene Hoglan talks about recording with Chuck Schuldiner.
Chuck was always, he was very, very open-minded, and he was into having his musicians that were playing with him just reach out for the best stuff that they had.
Phil Campbell from Motorhead discusses what it takes to get sober. John 5 answers his critics who dismiss his tenure with Marilyn Manson.
You know, my name is John 5 and Manson gave me that name, and I had some of the best years of my life in that band and learned a lot.
And we get the lowdown on Trey Exagtoth from those who would know, including his mother. All across Scars and Guitars Volume 1, there are moments of tension, relief, tragedy, exhilaration, and throughout it all, you'll obtain insight that I believe no one else has managed to obtain from many of your favourite artists. So treat yourself. Scars and Guitars Volume 1 is currently available as an ebook with a print edition on the horizon. Follow the links attached and download a sample. I'm sure you'll be compelled to read the whole book.